Now, live from the Patriot Detroit Radio Complex, this is the John McCulloch Show.
The Republican establishment is trying to nullify the 2016 election. That's a brutal fact we have to face.
The Republican establishment
wants
to nullify the 2016 election.
Trying to nullify the 2016 election. Absolutely.
Who?
I think Mitch McCulloch, to a degree, Paul Ryan. They do not want Donald Trump's populist, economic, nationalist agenda to be implemented. It's very obvious. It's obvious as night follows day.
Now, here's John.
And welcome into the Monday edition of the McCulloch Show here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. Glad you could join us for the fastest hour in local Detroit talk radio, where your host continues serving his life sentence in reality. Be advised, here all lives matter. There is no political correctness. There are no safe zones for the snowflakes. And if you can be triggered, you can bet that you're going to get triggered here. Glad you could be with us today. Something to watch out for in the news coming up. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, former chair of the DNC, she and quite a few other legislators, Democrats all, are going to take a huge fall. Falsified spending records, you name it, all around these Imran, Awan, that big family. Turns out they were doing things at the behest of the Democrat Party and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and it's going to be ugly, quite ugly. Also getting uglier as each hour goes by, the NFL conflict with Colin Kaepernick and others. It's spreading to colleges. Unfortunately, now I'm not watching college football. That bothers me, but not as much because Saturday's more of a day for family stuff. That's just the way we do things. But Sunday is really freed up. And again, another Sunday with zero NFL. And I got to tell you, for somebody who loves watching football, it's a big step. But it's all the fault of one person who started the whole thing, and, well, it's not going to be pretty. In any case, what I want to talk about is this confusion that I'm seeing in Washington. Yesterday, Steve Bannon, in my opinion, hit the ball out of the park at the Value Voters Summit, where he delivered a 36-minute speech and just named names. I mean, he's going after people. His people are going to try to oust all what they call rhinos, establishment Republicans, whatever you want to call it. And he gets pretty nasty. And the crowd was going nuts. They were cheering. I got to admit, so was I. Because some of the things he said made a lot of sense. Then our president sits down with Mitch McConnell, majority leader of the Senate, has lunch, comes out the Rose Garden for an impromptu press conference, and they're best buds. Confusing. Here's my question. Knowing Donald Trump as you do and as I do, now you may know him differently than I do. I know how I feel about him and his tactics and his goals and objectives. Knowing him as you do, is he just simply playing both sides of this? Or is this some kind of ploy? Because Steve Bannon is serious. He's got money behind him, and he wants to oust establishment Republicans by primarying them and getting them out of there. And since their big win in Alabama over the guy that President Trump endorsed, do you think this is a good idea? Now, President Trump says he's going to try to talk them out of some of this. But is he really? Or do you think this is some kind of ploy? How much do you know about it? Did you hear any of Steve Bannon's speech where he named Mitch McConnell as public enemy number one, practically? What's your whole take on this thing as we approach the budget, which means that will enable the government, the House and Senate, to then pass this extraordinarily beautiful tax reform and a few other things? Do you think it's moving in the right direction? Or are we about to be horribly disappointed again? Number of ways to get a hold of me. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Or you can use the text feature on your WDTK mobile app. Some of you have started already. And what that does, we'll just go to your app store and search WDTK. When it comes up, download it and install it, and then open it up, and you can start playing around with it. You can start listening to the show right there. You can listen to all the Salem hosts, all the podcasts, and so forth. The McCulloch Minutes are there. And if you scroll down, you'll come to a spot that says Text John McCulloch, and that sends a text right in here to this screen that you folks watching on Facebook can see. And that screen faces me, so you can't see what's on it. But anyway, that's where it comes. It comes directly here into the studio. So those of you watching, if you see me looking over there occasionally and doing some writing and so forth, some composing, that's what I'm doing, is answering the texts that come in. I don't answer them all, but I do read them all. And that is a promise. I do read every single one that comes in. So, here we go. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. What is going on? You've got, on one hand, you've got Mitch McConnell standing with Donald Trump in the Rose Garden, just having had lunch, and they're moving forward. And the president says he's never felt closer to Mitch McConnell. His former chief, Steve Bannon, now with Breitbart, yesterday at the Value Voters Conference, just literally lambasted the Republican establishment and said no one is safe. They're coming after all of them. Can't have it both ways, I don't think, unless somebody's pulling a ploy. But, of course, John McCain did it, didn't he? And, as a matter of fact, the entire Republican establishment did it on repealing Obamacare. So is turnabout fair play? 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Here's D.C. and Royal Oak on the Patriot. Hi, D.C.
Hey, John. So what's that bit of wisdom about keeping your friends close and your enemies closer? I think that probably applies here. And, you know, the nature shows and programs I've watched, when you get a den of snakes, a ball of snakes together, the poisonous snakes don't go after each other because they know that they can probably inflict a fatal wound and receive the same from each other. Draining the swamp, it's got to be a dirty business. I can tell you that all these establishment folks, there isn't one of them I'd flush down my toilet. I think that's how dirty they are, how filthy they are. And we don't know the half of how corrupt they are. So I hope somebody gets rid of them. If that's Bannon, great. If that's Trump, great. You know, but that's where my head's at. They can all go.
D.C., you made it very clear. Have yourself a great night, and thanks for the call.
Yes, sir.
And we'll go next to Bill in Novi on the Patriot. Hi, Bill. Go ahead.
Hey, John. I love the show. I just want you to know that I worked in D.C., and I think guys like McConnell and Paul Ryan I don't think it's just that they're rhinos. I think they really don't know how to manage people. I just think they're incompetent. I really believe that. I've seen it firsthand.
You know why I think they're incompetent? Because they're unsure of themselves.
That's right. That's exactly right.
They don't know how to project that leadership. When they came out of that lunch today and had that little press conference, it looked as though, to me, and to some of the people who have texted me already, it looked to me as though Donald Trump had eaten Mitch McConnell's lunch and put him in his place. That's what it looked like to me. Now, I don't trust Mitch McConnell as far as I can throw it, and that's not very far. But
I think Bannon doing what he's doing right now is going to have a bigger impact on all of these rhinos than anyone else.
So you think?
I think this is fantastic.
You think then that Steve Bannon will have more of an effect on the establishment than Donald Trump?
Yep, absolutely.
Interesting.
Because he's out there right now taking fundraising money, and he's working directly to upseat these guys. And I think that's probably what he told Donald Trump before he left. And I think this is fantastic. And the Alabama thing was a great example. Great example. If you ever want to start off a winning streak, Alabama's the place to go.
Well said, Bill. Thanks for your call. Here I have a tweet that says, why do Republicans turn on establishment Republicans? These are the same Republicans that you supported against Obama. Yes, that is true, sir, but you're forgetting one thing. They all lied to us. Every single one of them ran on repealing and replacing Obamacare. That puts them in a different category altogether after that vote. They are now, as far as I'm concerned, persona non grata. So it's not the same establishment. It would be the same establishment had they done what they said they were going to do. They did not. They had no intention of it. So they are not the same Republicans that we supported against Obama. They're different. They've revealed themselves as liars. And there can't really be anything worse, as far as I'm concerned, when you're dealing with the relationship between a legislator and the people who elect him. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. We've been jammed since the beginning. You might sneak in here on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400. I always like to welcome a new advertiser with a little bit of fanfare, but I don't have any fanfare, so I'll just do my own. Online Trading Academy, I couldn't be prouder to have a group on with us, joining us. They're in their 28th year of providing market knowledge that you can use here in the Detroit market. They're also in Dubai and in Singapore and in Dallas and 40 other places all around the world. Their core strategy is patented. Let me say that again. Their core strategy is patented. They're a brick-and-mortar operation, and what they do is what I've been saying all along you should do. Somebody sitting on a 401k or whatever else, and you want to see it grow, and you see somebody who knows how to do that, or seems to, and you ask them a few questions, you find out they do, then you ask them to show you how they did it. And that's what Online Trading Academy is all about. Professional traders contract to the Online Trading Academy to come and teach you what it is that they do to make money, whether the market goes up or down. It's a teaching environment. It's a discipline. It's patented. But doggone it, if you sit down and do the work and apply yourself, there's no telling how successful you can be. Online Trading Academy. I strongly, personally recommend them. Welcome them to the show. And again, you go there to find out how professional traders make money, whether the market goes up or down. Here's the number to call and to attend that same really imaginative 3-hour meeting that I attended on investments and also on trading. Call 844-250-8723. There's no cost to you. 844-250-8723. Or you can just go to the John McCulloch page at patriotdetroit.com, and we have a link right there to it. That's patriotdetroit.com. Go to the John McCulloch page. We'll link you right there. And when you get over to the Online Trading Academy, please let the folks know there that John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
I-75 northbound between Northline Road and Dix down to one lane for emergency repair work. Slow traffic back to Allen Road. I-94 westbound at Lanyo, accident left lane, slowing from I-75. I-94 eastbound at Warren Avenue, accident right shoulder. M14 eastbound before Gottfredson Road, accident left lane, slowing from US 23. I-696 eastbound at Gratiot, accident right lane, traffic slow from Mound. 696 eastbound between Woodward and 75, the left lane closed for construction. It's slow back to Southfield Road. Big Beaver eastbound at DeQuinder down to one lane for construction, slow back to John R. West Grand Boulevard between 96, the Jeffries and Grand River, closed for construction through November 6th. Your weather forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 42. Tuesday, sunny, high near 66. Tuesday night, clear, low around 46. Right now, it's 56 degrees. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 at AM 1400.
So I went over to the office of Greg Chiropractic Life Centers this morning, and I wanted to see Dr. Mason, and he did a little adjustment, and all is well. But the fun thing for me was as I was sitting waiting to go in, and I've never waited, I don't think, longer than 3 minutes, a person came up to me and said, "Are you John?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You know, you're the reason I'm here, and that my husband is here, and that we all feel so much better in my family. Thank you. You have no idea how heartwarming that is to me to have that happen. And you don't know how often it happens, because that's a place that I visit, and I go to Cruise Hearing a lot, and I go to Online Trading Academy a lot, and I'm hoping to have a lot of people tell me that there too. But the places that I visit a lot, I get that a lot, and that personal touch just really makes me feel good because I know that they're getting exactly what I said they would get. Or the folks don't make it onto the program. They don't make it past the screening committee. Greg Chiropractic Life Centers sailed through the screening committee, believe me. And if you have questions about chiropractic, well, you should go there and talk to Dr. Greg. He's happy to talk to you. Let me give you the number for both offices. There's an office in Troy and an office in Garden City. And in Garden City on Wednesday, they'll have a session of the doctor's report, and you can go and find out straight from the horse's mouth. Look, it's your pain. And if nobody's been able to help you with it, why not try? Why not at least get the information from the horse's mouth? Because it is your pain. 734-525-8422. That's 734-525-8422. And you can also, that's for both offices, or you can go once again to the John McCulloch page at patriotdetroit.com, and there's a link right there for you too. And please let him know when you go see Dr. Greg that John McCulloch sent you.
The John McCulloch Show is sponsored in part by Azertech Public Adjusters.
We're talking about what's happening in Washington, D.C., which has a lot of left-wing socialists really scratching their heads. What with the Harvey Weinstein thing started threatening to break things wide open as far as their money trough out of Hollywood, and also the Debbie Wasserman Schultz thing about to blow sky high, along with probably 6 or 7 other socialist left-wing libs, legislators, who are going to bite the big one on that. It's falling apart, as criminal enterprises do. I want your take on it. 800-923-9385. Also, on the, is that a new Mitch McConnell we're seeing? Best buddies with Donald Trump? lunch and then a nice little Rose Garden conversation. Meanwhile, Steve Bannon at the Value Voters Summit is firing broadsides at every establishment Republican who did not vote to repeal and replace Obamacare, and some who did. Here's Bill and Romeo on the Patriot. Hi, Bill. Go ahead.
Hi, John. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome. Hey, I have to admit that some of the crazy things that our president has said and the tweeting, and it's kind of made me a little nervous about whether or not I voted for this. Well, I know I voted for the right person, but whether or not we voted the best man in. But the more I've been seeing what he's doing and thinking about what he's doing, I really think, I used to think he's crazy. I was starting to think that, but now I think he's crazy like a fox. One of your other callers mentioned the same thing I was going to say. Is I think the whole idea of keeping your friends close and your enemies closer. That's what I would say about this Mitch McConnell thing. And as far as Bannon goes, I only saw a little bit of what he was saying, but he was Donald Trump's chief strategist. I think he still is, and I think part of their strategy for him leaving was so that he could do exactly what he's doing now. And I think that Donald Trump is playing politics better than anybody has ever played it before, because he's not a politician, and he's not having to follow all these crazy norms and patterns that the previous Republicans and Democrats have fallen victim to. And I really think that he's going to surprise us. And he's got everybody off balance. I mean, nobody knows what's going on, what's up, what's down. He says one thing one day, he says something another. I think that's all intentional. I really do. And I've had these snowflakes coming up to me at work, and I'll make a comment, and they'll come up and try to attack me, and I start throwing facts at them, and they just get knocked off balance. And he's got Kim Jong-il word, he's got Iran word, he's got the Democrats word, he's got the Republican, the regular Republicans, the rhinos, all of them are nervous. And I think this is all part of the plan. I really do. And I think that Steve Bannon I think this has all been, I don't know if it was planned from the beginning, but I think this is something they figured out after they started that, okay, we're not going to be able to do it from the inside, so Bannon's on the outside doing the dirty work, and it doesn't have to rub off on the president, which I think is awesome, totally awesome.
Bill, I hope you're right. I really do, and it's a great assessment, I think, of what's going on. It's a kind of a Pollyanna look at it, but I hope you're absolutely right, and I thank you very much for the call. Oh, we got to add to the mix that Julian Assange is about to drop another bomb on Hillary. They say this is the big one. And normally, when that guy says he's going to do something, it happens. We'll just have to wait and see. Here's Ken in Livonia on the Patriot. Hi, Ken, go ahead.
Well, John, the one point that I'm listening to is the Value Voters Summit. And I have to say that I am not exactly thrilled that Donald Trump was even part of it. Because who sponsored this summit? The Pentecostals. And who are the Pentecostals? For those who don't know, people who believe that God speaks to them directly in their minds outside of the Bible. And so I just have to say that I'm not exactly thrilled that the president supports the Pentecostals, because I personally do not like the Pentecostals.
So what would the president do, Ken, that would make you happy? Go out and denounce the Pentecostals?
Absolutely.
Well, Ken, that's not going to happen. You don't see that would be. Yeah, and then I suppose you should denounce the Catholics too, because nothing has happened since Christ left the earth, according to your belief, and Catholics believe that some things have happened, that there have been miracles. So he should denounce them too. And of course, the great people, the chosen people of the Jewish religion, they don't believe Christ was the Messiah. So we should denounce them too. And when we're all done denouncing, the only people left standing will be people who feel exactly the way you do, Ken. And that, frankly, is a little... I'm not ready to go there. Nick from Warren sent a new amendment to the Constitution. Congress shall not be exempt from any law they pass. I love it. Thanks, Nick. Let's see. Next up, Tom from Detroit on the Patriot. Hi, Tom.
Hi, John. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, what did you do bad in a past life to be born a Pentecostal? Yeah, that's just a joke. I really called about the repeal and replace. You know, every time I hear that, it kind of really knocks me for a loop. Okay, repeal it, yeah, and then what? Replace it with another socialist system? I mean, who's smart enough to be able to figure out something that's going to be fair for everybody, especially when we're $20 trillion in debt in the first place? And it's all attached to an unconstitutional income tax also in the first place. And I guess that's all I got to say.
Thanks for your call, Tom.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Have yourself a great night. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. This is the John McCulloch Show here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. Cruz Hearing is a group of people, family of people, with offices in Farmington Hills and in Taylor, actually, is where it is, downriver. And these people are, well, they're just nothing short of amazing. Because what they want to do, and do on a regular basis, is provide people with the information they need to make a decision about their hearing, whether to correct it, whether or not to correct it. I mean, you might just have too much wax in your ears, and if that's the case, they'll tell you that and fix that for you too. But they want you to have the information, and they're not going to try to hard sell you. And I can't stress that enough, because there's so many places you go that are just going to beat on you almost until you either run out of the store screaming or buy something. And that's not the way the Cruz people are. The hardest thing, though, is making the phone call. And I suggest that you suck it up and just do it, because for some reason there's this stigma that people have about hearing loss, and it's basically it's a medical thing, and the Cruz people want you to know about it. But again, as I said, the hard thing is making that phone call. Why don't you do it? And take my word for it, it'll be a good experience for you. And then let me know. I like to hear about these things. Almost every time I go into the office, I meet somebody who's come in there as a result of this show, and that is very gratifying. And a lot of people wouldn't have gone had they not known it's the kind of place it is. 877-456-2789. That's 877-456-CRUISE. 877-456-2789. And please let them know you heard about it from John McCulloch.
Now, on-time traffic, news, and weather on The Patriot.
I-75 northbound between North Line Road and Dix, the roadway down to one lane for emergency repairs. Only the left lane is open until further notice. Slow traffic back to Allen Road. I-94 westbound before I-96 accident left lane. I-94 westbound at Lanyo accident left lane, slowing from I-75. I-94 eastbound at Warren Avenue, an accident on the right shoulder. M14 eastbound before Goffredson Road, accident left lane, slowing from US 23. I-696 eastbound at Gratiot, accident left shoulder and right lane, it's slow from Mound. Big Beaver eastbound at DeQuinter, down to one lane for construction, it's slowing from John R. 696 eastbound between Woodward and I-75, the left lane closed for construction, it's slowing back to Southfield Road. West Grand Boulevard between I-96, the Jeffreys, and Grand River, it's closed for construction through November 6th. Your weather forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 42. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 66. Tuesday night, clear, a low around 46. Right now, it's 56 degrees. From the townhall.com newsroom, another Republican candidate has announced plans to run for the U.S. House of Representatives. Former 11th Congressional District Representative Carrie Bentivolio will try to regain the seat he lost in 2014 to Dave Trott. Early this year, Trott announced he was leaving Congress, and 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats have announced their plans to seek the office. Ventivolio released a statement saying the district needs a principled conservative and someone who will rock the boat on behalf of the people. A Detroit man is paying for kids who can't afford school lunch to end their shame. Tony Casanova created Invisible Dad, a program in the Walled Lake Consolidated Schools District that makes sure no kid is embarrassed for not being able to afford a hot meal. Invisible Dad paid for 1,500 lunches last school year before spreading to the 12 other elementary schools in the district. The program tackles bullying and the unpaid school lunch debt that concerns many lawmakers. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
You know secondhand smoke is a health risk. When you see someone smoking or you smell smoke, you avoid it. Did you know the second leading cause of lung cancer cannot be seen, smelled, or tasted? It's radon gas. It may cause over 600 new lung cancers in Michigan this year. And the only way to know you're safe from radon is to have your home tested. 1 in 8 Michigan homes test positive for dangerous levels of radon gas. Call 1-800-RADON-GAS to learn more about radon and having your home tested. This message sponsored by the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Online Trading Academy.
FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot. We're talking about the kind of opposing views we're getting out of Washington, from yesterday at the Value Voters Summit to today with Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump having lunch and then coming out and making nice with each other and trying to figure out who's doing what and to whom here. But make no mistake, the ties between Steve Bannon and Donald Trump, the president, are strong. That's my opinion. But I think it's a pretty informed opinion. I think Steve Bannon has a deep affection for President Trump and wants to help him in an environment where no one else seems to want to. Here's Charlene and Troy on the Patriot. Hi, Charlene.
Hi, John. Well, I've always said that I think that the Republicans are in collusion with the Democrats. And, you know, John McCain has often said that he's a progressive, which is just a euphemism for a socialist. So I don't know why people would be surprised that they're not getting rid of Obamacare and doing everything they can to oppose the president's agenda.
Okay. So where does that leave us?
Well, I mean, we're on the outside looking in, and I have to believe that the president has to, you know, buddy up to McCain or to Ryan and to McConnell. And, you know, you're just guessing as to what's really going on. But I have to believe that he's doing the best he can to get their cooperation. And I'm sure he's not opposed to what Bannon's doing. And Bannon should be doing what he's doing. Is we need to get rid of a lot of these people because they're not really Republicans. They're statists, and they're there to pretend like they're against it when they're really not. It's just a little game they play. You know, the good cop, bad cop. You know, the Democrats are the bad cops, and we Republicans are the good cops. But there really isn't any difference between them at all, except for very few of them.
I think you're probably, completely hitting the nail right on the head with that statement, Charlene. And I thank you for the call. Yeah, there's too many people in Washington now who are just establishment, and you can't. The only ones that really stand out are the ones that are on the far right, real conservatives, and the ones on the far left, real socialist communists. And in the middle, I think they're all pretty much the same. That's just an observation. Bruce in Grosse Pointe Farms, you're next on the Patriot. Go ahead.
Hey, hi, John. Good evening. I hope you had a marvelous weekend despite all the rain.
Well, I didn't get wet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I think and I wouldn't be the first person to say this, obviously, but it's the keeping the friends close and the enemies closer thing. Just like I had mentioned a few weeks back after Trump said he had that little meeting with Nancy and Chucky, but and the thing is, you've got, again, like Charlene pointed out, previous caller, there's really not a whole lot of practical difference between the Democrats and the Republicans and the establishment. In fact, I have very little trust for about 95% of the Republicans in the House, and probably about maybe 5%, I would trust in the Senate. You could count the number of people that I trust on both bodies and the fingers of both hands, I think. And also as far as Schultz goes and Weinstein, everybody is thinking that they're going to go to jail. They're going to wind up doing time behind bars. That is not going to happen. If we can't put Hillary Clinton away with all the demonstrably treasonous and seditious things she has done over the course of her political career, in addition to what enabling her husband to carry on like he did in the Oval Office with certain people, we're not gonna people going to jail anytime soon.
Well, I would say, Bruce, that you are probably right if it weren't for Julian Assange.
Mm-hmm.
Word has it that this next thing he's about to drop on Hillary is going to be the haymaker.
Well, I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
I do too, because I think that she has done enough. So's Bill. I think that they've done enough as a couple, stolen enough, ruined enough lives, stormed over people, and worse. That I think that some comeuppance is due, and that somebody needs to show the world that a family without any scruples whatsoever can come in and walk all over a nation of 300 million people. It has to be demonstrably demonstrated from the Department of Redundancy Department that they can't do that.
Yeah.
And if there's ever been two crookeder people more worthy of prosecution than those two, I don't know who they would be. I appreciate the call, Bruce, very much. Thanks for being with us tonight. Here's Beverly in Hazel Park on the Patriot. Hi, Beverly.
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. The vast majority of your callers tonight seem to be, as far as I can tell, dead on. We may be seeming optimistic. I'm feeling optimistic. But there's also that, so many of the people that he gets in there, that new Kirsten, I guess she's totally rhino, and I don't trust her at all. I don't trust most of them that are in there. I don't really know that he's going to make progress like you were just talking about with the Hillary thing with Jeff Sessions. I don't know if Jeff's been compromised, intimidated, or what, but I can't see him going forward with it at all. And there's so many of them in there that need to be prosecuted. But honestly, I think that he's crazy like a fox. He's got everybody in, like the one fellow was saying, he's got everybody in a state of confusion, which is great. And I think that's the plan. I think in my opinion, that would be the thing to do. We need to trash the Democratic Party, trash the Republican Party, split them all up, and maybe we'll come out of this with a four-party system.
Interesting idea. It's amazing, though, how this Harvey Weinstein thing has silenced the left. Isn't it?
Well, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
They still have their silly little TV stations and their silly little radio outlets, but as far as...
It seems like the media is going down, Hollywood's going down, NFL's going down, the Democrats are going down, and the Republicans are going down, and that's a great thing, if you ask me. All of it can go, and let's trash the system and see if we can get some fresh blood in there.
What do all of the institutions that you just brought up have in common?
Liberal.
Establishment.
Exactly, right. Establishment.
Thanks for the call,
and
Beverly.
We're tired of it. And I think it's time that the American people are awake and they are standing up. And I think Bannon's right. And I think that he's going to be proven right.
Great.
He's the only one, I think, that's really, truly on Trump's side. But I think it's going to work because we are on Trump's side. The American people are. That's what I think.
Thank you for bringing that up, Beverly, because a lot of people who listen to this show, who are critics of this show and critics of my stand on things, they don't know, or they don't seem to they don't get it, that
right.
Nobody
gets it.
We're not alone out here.
He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Trash the whole system. That's what we sent him there to do. Even Michael Moore said it. You know? Even Michael Moore said it. And we all stood on and said, yes, Michael Moore, for once, only once. He was right. You know? We threw a bomb into Washington, and that's what we wanted to happen.
Well said, Beverly. Thank you for your call. Have yourself a great night. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. We have been busy. The traffic here has been immense. A real traffic jam of phone calls. I say that to give a hint to those of you who got a busy signal and may want to experience Jason Fissler's dulcet tones rather than a busy signal. Here on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400. Azertech Public Adjusters, a great group of people that I didn't even know about 7 or 8 months ago, and I didn't know what a public adjuster did, but now I do, and now if something happens to me or to my family in a property insurance type situation, like a water leakage or fire, God forbid, the first people I'm going to call are Azertech Public Adjusters. A public adjuster is licensed by the state of Michigan to get you the best settlement possible when you have a property insurance claim at your home or business. It's that simple. They know their way around. Now, I've had the situation where I did have a sewer backup and flood at another home that we lived in, and getting that all taken care of and inventory and all of that stuff was like a full-time job. It was incredible. I didn't know about Azertech Public Adjusters. What I could have done was just call them and say, here, take it over. Let me know when the smoke clears, so to speak. And that's what they'll do. They're very happy to do that. And typically they get 3 to 5 times what the initial offer from the insurance company would be. Azertech Public Adjusters, you should have their number on your refrigerator and in a drawer at work. And you need to call them and talk to them about your policy. They're happy to do that. They'll tell you what's in it. They'll tell you whether your company is one that routinely undershoots on claims, and there are some out there that do. They're very good people to know, very good people to talk to, and very generous with their time. 855-CLAIM-55 is their number. That's 855-CLAIM-55. 855-CLAIM-55 for Azertech Public Adjusters, and please let them know John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
I-75 northbound between North Line Road and Dix, the roadway down to one lane, only the left lane open until further notice for emergency repair, and slow traffic back to Allen Road. I-94 westbound before I-96, accident left lane slow from Woodward. I-94 westbound at Lanyo, accident moved from the left lane to the right shoulder. Police are on the scene, slow from I-96. I-94 eastbound at Warren Avenue, accident right shoulder. I-275 northbound before I-696, accident right shoulder. Police on the scene. M14 eastbound before Gottfredson Road, accident left lane slowing from US 23. 696 eastbound at Gratiot, accident left shoulder and right lane. It's slow from Mound. Your weather forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low around 42. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 66. Tuesday night, clear, a low around 46. Right now, it's 56 degrees. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 at AM 1400.
Dr. Richard Klein is a specially educated neuromuscular dentist with over 30 years' experience managing TMJ disorders and sleep apnea disorders at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute. Dr. Klein is knowledgeable, that's to say the least. He's one of the world's foremost authorities on TMJ and sleep apnea disorders. And the reason for that is that that's all he does. He's also certified in pain management. But Dr. Klein is really in demand all over the world. He lectures all over the world. He lectures all over the country. He lectures to medical people. They have him to medical conventions because the medical community is very interested in finding out what it is that he knows about TMJ and sleep apnea disorders because the symptoms are so elusive. He teaches at medical school here in Michigan, and we've got him right here in Warren. Now, if you want to go to tmjmichigan.com and look at the symptoms of TMJ and sleep apnea, and you haven't done it, I think it's time well spent. Because when you see those symptoms, some of them are going to surprise you. Symptoms you wouldn't ordinarily associate with TMJ disorder or obstructive sleep apnea. But if you see some symptoms on there that match symptoms that you have, then you want to call Dr. Klein for an evaluation appointment. All the information that you need to get a hold of Dr. Klein is right there at tmjmichigan.com for Dr. Richard Klein at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute. And please let him know John McCulloch sent you.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Cruise Hearing Aid Services.
FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot. Here's Ron in Bloomfield Hills on The Patriot. Hi, Ron.
Hey, John. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. I just called to remind people of a conversation that Sebastian Gorka had on a Fox Channel TV show around 10 o'clock, if you remember who that used to be at 10 o'clock. And it was right after he left the White House. And he said that he and Bannon can do more outside of the White House than they could get done that was inside the White House. So Bannon's not the only one. Gorka is also an advocate who is still tight with the president. So we have to remind ourselves of that conversation because those things can get done a certain way without restraint from being inside that circle. So we need to remember that.
Let me ask you a question, Ron, and this is something that's come up a couple times when I've been talking to people about both Gorka and Bannon. Do you think that their personalities were just too caustic for the establishment and that they had to be removed from the immediate vicinity in order to do the good that they can do?
Well, that could be true, but I think more of that the president is crazy like a fox, and by letting them go, he planned that type of scenario that's coming to fruition right now and just starting. And I suggest that we're going to be hearing more from Sebastian, too, just like we're starting to hear from Bannon. I mean, I may be wrong, but I'm predicting that that's what's going to happen.
Okay, Ron. Appreciate your call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have yourself a great night. Here's Ross in Canada on The Patriot. Hi, Ross.
Hi, good evening, John. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. Yeah, I've been watching this. I'm personally going to be praying for Steve Bannon because he's going right into the wolf pack, and I think you guys are pretty blessed to have people that are willing to stand up against them. And these people are not just establishment either. These people are actually working on a global scale, but they just happen to have one of their basic headquarters in your government. So, hey, God bless you guys. It looks like things are going to get cleaned up.
What makes you, what convinces you that that's the case, Ross? I'm very interested because there's a lot of people on this side of the border that don't believe it.
Oh, you mean regarding that this is on a global scale?
Well, yeah, and that we're making progress.
Well, just watching it from over here, first of all, I personally believe that God establishes leaders in countries all the time, but this particular one, Mr. Trump, he has an anointing leadership on him like we've never seen before. I'm sure not too many people would disagree with me there. And what we're seeing is a move of God in your country. So that's why I'm convinced that things are going to get cleaned up. I don't know how long they're going to stay that way, but right now God's moving in your country, and nothing can stop that.
You know, if you weren't about the 10th person that's told me that, I would say that it was a reach. But I really appreciate your call, Ross. You're not alone in that thinking.
Equifax recently announced a breach of 143 million identities, and you need to take steps to get protection. Be among the millions who trust your identity protection to LifeLock. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to detect if your personal information is being used by thieves for a range of threats to your identity. From your info appearing on the dark web to payday loans in your name or any number of other threats. And if there's a problem, one of their identity restoration agents will work to fix it. They know the steps to take and the calls to make to resolve problems as quickly as possible. Nobody can prevent all identity theft or monitor transactions at all businesses, but rest assured that LifeLock has been helping people come out on the bright side of identity theft for over a decade. Join starting at $9.99 plus applicable taxes. Get 10% off by using the promo code MEDVED. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com. But be sure to use the promo code MEDVED. That's MEDVED for 10% off at lifelock.com.
MyPillow.com. You know that you want to go there and get MyPillow. Why don't you do it? Make today the day. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code WDTK. You'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. That's MyPillow.com, promo code WDTK. 2 MyPillows for the price of 1, and you too can start sleeping the way nature intended.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code WDTK. Couple things I want to say about the left having more problems than they know how to handle. Do you remember the guy that we traded for 5 Al-Qaeda, ISIS-type killer generals? Remember the guy that we traded to let those 5 guys out of Guantanamo, those killers that our men are now meeting on the battlefield again? The guy we traded for that was a guy named Bo Bergdahl, if you remember. And Bo Bergdahl was responsible for the deaths of a number of people in his unit who went looking for him when he disappeared, or deserted is a better word. Well, now Bo Bergdahl has pled guilty to desertion and unfit conduct in front of the enemy. And the left is saying that he was forced to do that by the military, who didn't want the real secret to come out. Nice try, lefties. Ain't working, won't work, never has. Give it up. Thanks to Jason Fissler for doing the studio technician duties tonight. This program was produced by Steve Dealey. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. Thank you for texting. Thank you for watching. Just thank you. I'm John McCulloch, and until we talk again tomorrow night at 6, please have as good a night as you can.
The John McCulloch Show is sponsored in part by Dr. Richard Klein of Michigan Head and Neck, Greg Chiropractic Life Center, AzerTech Public Adjusters, Cruise Hearing Aid Centers, and Online Trading Academy. The John McCulloch Show on the new FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
A bird may love a fish, signore, but where would they live?
The Patriot.
This is Michael Medved for Townhall.com. In another inane choice for the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize, the Norwegian Nobel Committee selected an organization known as ICAN, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. The idea of abolishing nuclear weapons is absurd, of course. If the world enacted the restrictive treaties proposed by the campaign, then decent law-abiding nations would be disarmed, while rogue states like North Korea and Iran would continue developing the nuclear weapons